The story of Sinuhe refers to a man who fled his duties in Egypt and became a Bedouin in an Asiatic tribe. Sinuhe was an assistant to King Amenemhat I, who was the first king of the 12th dynasty in Egypt. The tale begins with the death of Amenemhat, and the news travels to his son Senusert I, who is fighting to the east. Word of his death reaches the son and Sinuhe. Sinuhe panics and is scared to return home as he is unaware of how the king died. He then flees to the east and goes into exile. During the early years of Sinuhe's exile, he runs into a man who is a leader of an Asiatic tribe called the Renitu. He is taken in, and Sinuhe marries the leader's eldest daughter and becomes a leader of his own tribe within the Renitu. After being chosen as a commander of the military, he completed the task set before him by the leader. These include battles, taking livestock, and taking prisoners. Sinuhe had multiple children and raised them into adulthood. As he aged, he began to long to go back home to Egypt. One fateful night, Sinuhe was confronted by a warrior who was sent to kill him. The now older Sinuhe accepted the challenge and dueled with the man. After a hard-fought battle, Sinuhe was victorious. He killed the warrior and began to think back on his life. He missed Egypt more than ever and wanted to finish out his life back in his old home. Fortunately, soon thereafter, Sinuhe received a letter from the king of Egypt, Senusert I. The letter requested him to return to Egypt and meet with the king. Sinuhe was excited yet weary as he fled after the death of Amenemhat I. After Sinuhe agrees to meet with the king, he leaves his wife and children behind. He makes his eldest son the new leader of the tribe. Sinuhe returns to Egypt and walks through the capital and meets with the king. The king was pleased to see him and gave him a place to sleep and to clean up. As a Bedouin, Sinuhe had tattered clothes, long hair, and a beard. This look was not acceptable in Egypt as royalty and the upper elites were clean-shaven men. The king forgave Sinuhe for fleeing his post and gave him the opportunity to become a part of the Egyptian elite. Sinuhe lives out his life in Egypt and is buried in a tomb for the elite class. The story is one of the first forms of autobiographical storytelling, and although the author of the story is unknown, he is considered to be the Shakespeare of the Middle Egypt. Egyptologists find this tale to be one of the finest pieces of literature to survive from ancient Egypt. The story dates from the 12th dynasty, and the fragment was found in the tomb of Sennacherib. The text on the papyrus is known as hieratic. This form of writing is like cursive for Middle Egyptian hieroglyphs. It was a simpler and faster method to writing larger works of literature, administrative, and religious texts.